Hey, welcome to Dreams Month. I am chatting with Andrea Marsh. Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do, please?
Hi, yes, I'm Andrea Marsh from Cotswold Menopause. I help women alleviate their menopause symptoms with natural solutions and supplements.
Awesome. So, vivid dreams. It's a biggie, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a great one for Chinese medicine. For those that don't know me, my background, I'm a shiatsu practitioner and I've been doing Chinese medicine for like nearly 20 years. And actually, I use the basis of this to understand what's going on in your body that causes your symptoms and then to resolve your symptoms. And vivid dreams it's called unsettled Shen in Chinese medicine. And I love it because back when I was studying shiatsu, I got a lot of flus and viruses, probably, living a very, very stressful life. So I got ill a lot. And in case you haven't guessed, Emily is very poorly today. So we send her love and hugs and hope she's better soon. And vivid dreams come with fevers. So if I don't know if you've had any this week, Emily, but
No, I've
when you're running
sort of lightly there. I've just got a cold and a cough.
a
And it's
cold.
not COVID. I've done a million tests.
All right, I'm not going to catch it from here. So vivid dreams are attached to fevers. So basically the Chinese medicine is when your body's too hot, that this unsettles the Shen, and the Shen resides in the heart, and the heart is full of blood. So when the heart boils up, or the blood in the heart boils up, bubbles up, then there's nothing to root your sanity in. It's a lovely, lovely description, but I think it's so descriptive. I love it. And so you start seeing very vivid things and start, if it gets very, very bad, you'd be paranoid and delusional during waking hours. But where this tends to manifest for you, if you've got a flu or virus or COVID or at various stages of the menopause, is when you're asleep. So very rarely are people having vivid dreams when they're cold, but then the vivid dream might be that you're cold because your body is trying to tell you to wake up because you're too cold. But that's less likely. Normally, vivid dreams, they can be a mixture of stuff that's going on in your life, plus symptoms breaking through in your sleep, i.e. your subconscious is trying to tell you that your body is out of balance. And that's the way to look at it, really. It's not something you need to put up with, but how to resolve it can be quite complex. I can give you some top line stuff today, but it is a bit more individual. So let's simply look at you being too hot, and if that is the root cause of your vivid dreams, which means they might be coming off the back of you having night sweats between about 1 and 3 in the night, or you might be a person that's flushing. So if you're a person that can have hot flushes during the day, you can also have hot flushes during the night. And I see this as very separate from night sweats. So night sweats are more food related and hot flushes are more to do with your cardiovascular system and hormones. So that's why vivid dreams can happen later in the night, 4, 5, 6 a.m. Sometimes I'm literally dreaming up to the second of waking up, and I was like 1 second ago I was in the middle of some ridiculous scenario, and now I'm like wide awake. So
yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. So that means dreaming can literally happen until the minute you get up. And I'm not a sleep specialist, but I know enough about sleep to know sleep cycles, that REM comes at the end of sleep cycles, and REM is more vivid later in the night. So you get your deeper sleep like 10, 12, midnight, and then the sleep gets lighter. So that's why dreams come at the back end of the night. But if you're ill, then you can have these vivid dreams at any time, because I say they're associated to a fever. So obviously a fever is a lot hotter temperature than night sweats and hot flushes. So I used to live in a bedroom. I had a tiny little flat, and then the bedroom was as wide as the double bed. And I should never have bought these, but I bought these candle holders that were like radiating. They were meant to be suns, and they were done in metalwork, and they were supposed to be suns. But when I had a fever, they were giant spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had to go.
Yes, I used to live in a tiny flat, and I had a coat stand in the corner, and that became a man. A really menacing man in the corner whenever I was poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just shows the height of what a fever can do, and that's almost the delusional end. You know, you're going into psychosis basically. But hopefully we rein it back a bit for menopause, and it's not quite so bad. But you've got two things colliding with your vivid dreams. One is your brain is processing stuff that happened the previous day, stuff you've got to do tomorrow, or stuff you can't let go of, importantly. And then also with the heat rising in your body, you know, creating this unsettled condition. So the two major things to approach: one is how to reduce heat during the night, and two, how to help your brain declutter. And I don't know, do you suffer from vivid dreams in between having colds and things? Is it something that you have?
Oh yes, I've always had really vivid dreams. This is just not nasty ones, but
No.
just I mean, even so for me, it got worse as my hormones have changed. But even years ago, I remember having a really clear dream about it's laughable, doing a freestyle ski competition and looking down and my skis were made of paper.
Yeah, that's always what happens in dreams, isn't it? There's something cool.
But that must have been. I mean, I remember where I lived at the time, and where I lived was between 2004 and 2007. So I was kind of 30, you know.
Yeah.
But it may well have been a point in my cycle where I was actually hormonal, so I don't know.
Yeah. I suffered from nightmares right from a kid. And they were continuing dreams as well. So I could, you know, so they went on for years. I had some very specific ones that I'm sure would nowadays send me to a psychologist. But one thing to look at with these dreams, so I've done a lot of dream, not counseling, self-therapy, reading, understanding. And so one of the primary things that you can ask yourself when you wake up from a dream, sometimes dreams left me morose, left me with that really heavy feeling all day. And the main thing to take away from a dream, so for example, Emily about to do, you know, ultimate skiing. Why was it skiing? Because Emily loves skiing. So that's something already in her brain.
I was living in a ski resort at the time. There was a relevance there.
I know you're very into skiing and things. So that's why you were set in a ski resort kind of thing. But then you look down and you're on paper skis, and looking and breaking down dreams. So looking at that one, I question why the paper skis and what was the emotion you were feeling. And it's really important to understand that your dreams are trying to manifest an emotion. And so maybe you felt like somebody had pulled the rug from under your feet kind of scenario, that you were going to do something, but somebody let you down. And that's why, you know, paper skis, useful as a chocolate teapot kind of thing.
Pretty much.
So yeah, so somebody else got the chocolate teapot and, you know, in their dreams, it actually all means the same thing. So the way I started analysing my dreams when I was younger was what was the emotion? What was it? And for me, it was very much frustration. And so, for example, I remember an awful one once. Babies kept dying and I kept taking them to the hospital and bashing on a reception window. And I literally felt my jaw, because I was screaming. I mean, gosh knows what I looked like during my sleep, because in my dream, I was screaming till I was puce that babies were dying and nobody was listening to me. So basically, there was something going on in my life that I was frustrated about. Nobody was listening to me, but it manifested very, very vividly and very horribly. So the one thing you can use your dreams to do is to say, you know, actually, what am I stressing about in real life? It's obviously so bad that it's coming through into your dreams. And then you might be a person that has jaw problems, you might be grinding your teeth. There's going to be associated symptoms to the emotions that you're experiencing in your dreams. That's one area of looking at. Another area is about decreasing the heat. If you're listening to this and going, oh yeah, I get so hot, I get so hot. There's long-term and short-term heat release. Long-term would be to work on what is going on in your body that is out of balance, that is creating that heat. And you'd have to work with me to do that. But in the short term, Blossom Cream, the cream that I've developed, really does help reduce heat during the night, and that would be something to get you through temporarily whilst you're working on your actual symptoms. And then there's a third way, and this is the way actually I realized only recently. I was doing this as a kid when I was getting the very bad dreams. I would suddenly think of, not because I was a Disney fan, I've never been a Disney fan, but there was something like, do you remember the castle? And then the music, and then rainbows and shooting stars and Tinkerbell and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. The way I would stop bad thoughts in my head, because obviously if you woke up, was to think about something that made me happy. And I only realized really recently that that's what I'm now teaching women to do, but in a more adult, constructive way. And that is, whatever, if you wake up with these dreams, whatever's going on in your head and it's going round and round and round, the positive way to interrupt it and to stop negative thinking is not to say stop, 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 because that doesn't work, but it's to replace it with something positive. And it really worked for me. And I came back to this again when my sleep was getting disrupted as part of the menopause. And I do it with my clients as well, depending on whether their head is blank or their head is whirling. If your head is whirling, you've got to calm it down, you've got to interrupt it, and you've got to think nice things. And you might say, but it's not easy to think nice things. But what you've got to do is think of just one thing that you're really grateful for. You know, it could be that you've got a really comfortable mattress. It could be you love your partner, your children, your dogs. You know what? You've got a roof over your head. Things aren't so bad when you've got a roof over your head. I mean, you've had a year of it. I bet you're quite grateful to be back in your bed with your roof over your head.
It's interesting when what you're saying there about kind of quietening your mind. I find it depends how hectic my mind is as to what distraction works. So if I'm just kind of on a general level of worrying and, you know, thinking about the dogs or about, you know, life works, I find though if I'm in crazy hectic mode, sorry, I've got a dog here who wants to be part of this video, but anyway, and then I really have to find something that focuses my mind. And I find, this may not work for anybody else, it may just be completely unique to me, but I don't think it is. I find that I go, in my mind, I go back to the house that we lived in until I was 10, and I walk my way through it, and I see everything that I can remember in there. Because the detail I need, so I see the telly that's over in that corner, and I see the sofa that was here, and I see the bookshelf that's there, just all those little bits, and that pulls me away from the nasty dream, but it gives my brain something so definite to concentrate on.
Yeah.
I can't get bogged down in panic and bad things.
And that's interesting that you've chosen probably to go back to a time when you're happy in your life and to remember the detail of it. So that's absolutely fantastic. But I know if we said that to them, if you said that to me, go back to the house you were 10 years in, I'd be like, why? So, but what Emily's saying is you need to find that thing that is right for you.
I'm not saying that technique is right for everybody. Maybe it's taking your mind's eye down a walk that you really like, taking your mind's eye to your favorite shop, to your favorite friend's house, so whatever it's for me, it's about going to somewhere in my mind that I can really focus on detail, because that pulls me away from all the negative stuff.
Yeah, and that's what anybody trying that needs to do, and that's partly why that's what I suppose what gratitude does for me. I just, because it's not about
have our interpretation of how we do that, don't we?
Yeah. So I find I've seen memes in the past, 15 things you're grateful for. Well, if you just went, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for the other, well, you know, how's that help me? But actually, if you say, what, I'm grateful for this one thing, I'm grateful for my husband or something like that, and then you think of all the reasons why, actually you start to not only feel grateful, actually feel happier with it. And then what happens, and I remember the first time this happened, I just laughed. You suddenly start to feel really sleepy and a bit giggly. It's just like, I feel a bit sleepy, and then boom, you can go back to sleep. So that's how to get back to sleep. But it's also, as Emily said, it's how to disrupt the negative worrying thoughts that are going through your head. Or you can analyze the emotions, or you can be working on the physical, or you can be doing all three. So yeah, to sum up, vivid dreams are your body is out of kilter on some level, and your brain is worrying. So you can physically, emotionally work on resolving vivid dreams. And if you're not taking these supplements yet, probably magnesium's a very good one to start with, because one of the other things is your body can get into a state where it doesn't want to let you go to sleep because it's fearful you're not working properly and therefore you might not wake up. So I think it's good to know sometimes that there is actually can be a very physical, real, tangible reason, and it's not that you're not going mad. It's actually something in your body going, not going to let you switch off, not going to let you switch off. And it's very much to do with your nervous system. So again, there's plenty of supplements that you can take that help get your nervous system repairing. It's not an overnight job, no pun intended. But saying that, when I started taking magnesium, I was lucky. I was doing a lot of other things in my house. So when I just added in magnesium, it helped me from that night onwards. So I was very lucky. That's not necessarily the same for everybody. But just start making practical changes. And, I feel there's an opportunity for a plug coming up here, Emily.
Go on. Oh. It's as though you'd written a book about menopause.
I read a book. And actually, there's a whole chapter on sleep quite near the start, because sleep is, until we've got your sleep back and your sleep is good and you wake up feeling well rested, we're not going to sort out the rest of the menopause and generally your health for the rest of your life. And it's also very important to understand your future cardiovascular health depends on your quality of sleep as well. And that brings us back to the Shen, your mind, being settled in your blood, your cardiovascular system. So, good old Chinese medicine. Pulls out the bag again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're welcome. Take care, Emily.